And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel, where we go over the most important cryptocurrency news, the most important news about the dollar, the most important news about NASDAQ, S&P, and we check out some other cryptos. Why is it important to follow our channel and like and subscribe? We've been dead accurate calling this market, shorting Bitcoin since 53,000. And I got news for you. The macro low, not in yet, but we have some very specific indicators that will tell us, hey, when the low is in, when you can take the lock off your wallet and go long. And we'll be covering those on the channel, so make sure you like and subscribe. And next things next. Let's jump on Bitcoin on the daily time frame. So, this is a bullish candle. If we close anywhere here or higher, I would expect some continuation today. This is Ethereum, in fact. Ethereum's been outperforming Bitcoin. Just so you know, the Ethereum upgrade to Ethereum 2.0 or whatever you want to call it went successfully. And since then, Ethereum has fared quite well, if you ask me, in comparison to Bitcoin. Why do I say that? Well, if you look at Ethereum, we never took out the June low. Never took out the June 2022 low like Bitcoin, right? So here was June 2022 for Bitcoin. And here you can see we took out the low. And I'm just going to get rid of some of these lines here for you. So when an altcoin is stronger than Bitcoin, that is a signal of strength. And in fact, another one looking pretty strong here is Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic, the other, call it the fool's gold or whatever you want to call it, but bullish engulfing candle, never took out the June lows. And Ethereum Classic is what really Vitalik Buterin said, hey, if you don't like Ethereum, stick with Ethereum Classic. And that would be a bullish engulfing candle. Anywhere here or higher, I'd expect continuation. Okay, back on to Bitcoin, because that's what everybody's here for. And we've got a very nice kind of ascending triangle, right? Which is higher lows and, kind of higher lows and even highs, right? So when you get higher lows, technically, these are 75, there's a higher probability that this triangle will break out to the upside. And where's the measure move on this one? From the 75 percentile, that's coming in at 19.5. And as long as Bitcoin on the daily is closing dailies below 21.5, I am going to consider this a daily downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows, and continuation of the downside until my bias is busted, right? And so let the trend be your friend until the end of the trend. That's the great old saying. So back on to daily targets. And what else I'll point out here is this is kind of more of a, complex low formation being formatted. And if we close the week here today, anywhere here or higher, let's see if some CME did it. CME will not close for another hour and 33 minutes, but anywhere here or higher, I'd confirm this kind of as a local low and be looking for that next move up to the 21. And something else, right? Basic TA, this is a 9 exponential moving average. This is a 21, this is a green 55 and a purple 200 exponential moving averages. You expect them to have exponential reactions. Needless to say, short-term target on CMEs is going to be the yellow 21. And the same thing on spot price action puts you at about 19,258. And I would say that's probably a little more likely than not going into the end of this month. However, what I want to point out really quick here, back on the dollar, as we've been speaking about over the past couple of days, watching this trend line, and really when the dollar goes down, risk assets go up, and the dollar could not get above our critical level of 105.75. And we did say yesterday with this daily closure confirming this as a local low, we were definitely going to test 105.70. Close enough is close enough. Didn't quite get there. This is a bearish engulfing candle to close the week in 3 hours and 21 minutes. Question is, are we going to bounce here first or not? And it looks like we're pretty close to getting a bounce, but not quite there yet. If we look at the daily Stokes, will cross down today below 103.70. So that'll be critical. If those do cross down as volatility is increasing, I'd expect the next target down on the dollar here at 101.39. Again, with the daily closure below 103.34. I am looking for Bitcoin to take a 5 to 10% leg up if that does happen. Yeah, and that's right in line. It's really anywhere from 9 to 20%, and that does look like to be the case. Also, additionally, daily volatility exploding off the lows, and will not cross down momentum. This is momentum, will not cross down unless Bitcoin closes the day below 16,629. Additionally, we got the 2-day volatility about to cross up today above 16,709, and you can see that that has produced some, pretty good rallies in the past for Mr. Bitcoin. How's Ethereum doing? Ethereum is already crossed up, leading the way in this market, and it looks like we want to tap that green 55 one more time, and I wouldn't be surprised actually if we come up and test this trend line at 1444. If we really get some legs, and it could happen over the weekend, It certainly could happen over the weekend, so keep your eyes on this market. It is time to be more and more, the more and more I evaluate these markets, the more important it is for you to just begin your education. Start learning about how these markets work, how the dollar interplays with all the other assets. And let me just show you something. Against popular belief, everybody thinks the dollar's getting weaker. The dollar's getting weaker. The dollar's losing value. Is that what you see here? So this is the last 2 years of the US dollar. The dollar rallied up 28% in 2 years. That's pretty much has not happened since when's the last time the dollar rallied 28%? 2014. Pretty good rally there, 2014. Danced around, at least got a bounce off the green 55. So, and I am still suspecting a bounce, and this will close. The dollar is not open over the weekend, so the dollar does not trade over the weekend. So a lot can happen over the weekend. I heard news today of a white lung disease, some kind of crazy disease out of China, killing people again. Watch out for the next shamdemic, right? It was a big sham, just like the White Lotus death lung thing. I mean, what are they going to come up with next? They're going to come up with something. Bill Gates and his cronies are going to conjure up some kind of juice and put it in the water and, lower everybody's testosterone. It's really sad what this country's coming to, but one thing's for sure. More and more and more, it is proven to us and to you that the government does not care about you. They don't care about your family, they don't care about your kids, and they don't care about basic morals and values. So, that being said, what can you do to, build your empire outside of the government's rules and regulations where they can just take whatever you have, right? You own your home, great, right? What happens if you get a parking ticket, you don't pay it? What happens if you have ex-wives and child support? What happens is if you don't pay, the government will eventually come with a big enough piece of paper and make you pay, or they'll take your house. So, owning assets that the government can't take away from you, probably not a bad idea. Bitcoin's one of them. There's a lot of other cryptos out there. Another asset you might want to take a look at is called gold. Gold is probably going to be one of the better performers in this type of environment. And look, this A lot of lines on here, okay? So gold was trading in a range between 1,700 and 2,000 an ounce for, call it, year and a half, right? And what happened is we finally broke the range of the downside, got a fake out. And when you get this type of price action, just so I can reiterate to myself and remember how these things work, this is called a bear trap. What happens with the bears? They get bearish, they get trapped, they get stuck in their cage, and then the bulls ram it back in their face. And this is what happens with a fake out, is bears are getting bearish, they're getting bearish. Oh, they got really bearish right here, and then boom, back in the trading range with volume, with conviction on the weekly time frame. That looks like a fake out to me. And gold will remain with upside posturing as long as we close today on the weekly time frame above 1867. So since the dollar is getting kicked in the teeth right now, I would suspect, and the dollar is putting a little bit of a rally in off the lows, which is kind of to be expected here. So I'm going to take this out. So bottom line is this year I expect gold to, probably head back to the top side of the range, 1965 to 2,000 an ounce. Food for thought, right? Silver follows gold with more gains. Just in the past, 2 weeks, not 2 weeks. How many weeks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll call it a few. How many months is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 months, up 38%, not bad. Silver, good job. Bouncing off the purple 200, back in the trading range. And what is most likely to happen next? Well, you head back to the top side of the range. This, support becomes resistance, and when you break through it, now it's support, right? So this is your resistance, and back in the trading range for Mr. Gold. Mr. Gold, come on, baby. All right, so that's it for today, guys. I think that's enough out of me. We took a look at gold, silver. What else do we look at? Foreign currencies. So as you noticed, the Brazilian real has actually been quite resilient compared to other currencies in the past year. However, right, because this is the month, so call that 12 months. I don't know how many months that is, probably 2 years right here. And the Brazilian real is still at 522. Pretty good. The euro, look at that. Over 2 years, harsh times for the euro. The Japanese yen, crushed over the last 2 years. The British pound, crushed. So, oh, and look at that. 10-year down 4.5% today. The 2-year down 4.5%. Should have locked that thing in at 4.8. We've been saying this is probably going to head up to 5.25 and then 6.6. Yeah, that could be in the cards. We'll see. Stokes will cross down below 463 today, which momentum will cross the downside, and no hidden bearish divergence there, but we do have it coming back from this pivot right here. Multiple drives. 1, 2, 3, and yeah, this could, wow, if this came back down to 2.68, that would mean inflation goes down dramatically like they're talking about. And yeah, so that's it for today, guys. I hope you learned something. I hope I brought some value. If I did, do yourself a favor, put a courtesy like on the video. That's it for today, guys. We'll catch up with you next week. Have a blessed and highly favored day.